Hi everybody! Today I wanted to do my recommendations of biographies, but royalty edition. I enjoy reading biographies, and I also enjoy the royals. It fascinates me just how they're involved in history and shaping history, and just how people's personalities shape what happens. Like, if so-and-so didn't do this, what would happen? And just because the position of power that royalty people have, it's just interesting to me to see how they use that power, to what ends, and just their stories. So here are some of the ones that I like, and they're mainly British royalty, but yeah, these are the books that I have read actually more than once. So here, the first three I have are by Alison Weir. The Six Wives of King Henry VIII, The Children of King Henry VIII, and The Life of Elizabeth I. So what I like about Alison Weir is how she weaves together the story of the Tudor royals. So starting with The Six Wives of Henry VIII, she delves a little bit into the life of Henry VIII. I believe she actually also has another book dedicated just to him. But then she starts going into the lives of his queens, and there were 6 of them, and how they were fascinating women in their own right, and just how their personalities, circumstances helped shape this turbulent time. We have Catherine of Aragon, and then who is the Spanish princess. She was the daughter of Ferdinand and Isabella of Spain, but then she only had one daughter. Then he married Anne Boleyn. There was that whole drama. She didn't have a boy, she had a girl. The whole drama of her losing her head. And then Jane Seymour. Henry VIII finally had his boy, but she died in childbirth. Anne of Cleves, who history has said was not the pretty queen, but she actually was probably pretty. But, why does history think that? It was because the personality of the king, and just he had a bad day that day, just certain things like that. We have Catherine Howard, the young girl who got put in this position of power and just made bad decisions. And then we have Catherine Parr, who, although she was matronly, she was very smart and very wise. So here was that one. The second one, this book I've read quite a few times actually, because it's one of my favorites, The Children of King Henry VIII. So this starts where this one leaves off, and it's about Mary I, Lady Jane Grey, Edward, and Elizabeth. And it's just how those turbulent years right after King Henry VIII's death, where Edward gets the throne, and then he starts his health is not in the best, and then who takes power? Lady Jane Grey, then Mary, and then Elizabeth. So this book ends right when Elizabeth ascends the throne. I just find all 4 of these people fascinating, in that time fascinating, and just how their beliefs shaped them, and shaped the country, and not just their country, but what happened in different parts of the world at that time. And then The Life of Elizabeth I, just kind of chronicling just her reign, and her mantra of, there is no mistress and only one master, and how she took control of that. So these are some very good books if you're looking into biographies for the Tudor reign. The next one is a little different. It's early 1900s and Russian royalty. The Quest for Anastasia, Solving the Last Mystery of the Romanovs by John Keeler and Helen Migney. And this is it kind of goes into the murder of the last Tsar and his family. So it gives a history of the reign and the political stuff that was going around with Rasputin and just the unrest and all that, and what happened when they disappeared, and just what went in the forensics of for when they found their bodies in Ekaterinburg. I've always been fascinated with forensics, and reading this was just very interesting of, just getting the bones, and could they get DNA from it, and then even a relative of Prince Philip in England now, they had to get DNA from them, because to see if they were the lost Romanovs. So I just found all that very fascinating because of the Russian royalty's connection to the British royals, and all that. So if you like forensics and you like royalty, and you like mystery, you'll probably like The Quest for Anastasia. So there's that one. The next one is The King's Speech, How One Man Saved the British Monarchy, by Mark Loig and Peter Conradi. This is the story of Edward VII, and when he gets into the reign. So Edward VII was actually not supposed to reign in England. His older brother, George VI was not supposed to reign. He's George VI. His older brother, Edward VII, only reigned for less than a year, but then he abdicated to marry the American divorcee Wallis Simpson, and so his brother, George VI, was just pushed into the limelight and said, "Here, run the country. You were never, you didn't expect this, but here you go." And he had a speech impediment where he kept stuttering with speeches. So he went to a tutor, Lionel Loig, and this book is just about their relationship, and just how their relationship shaped his speeches, and how shaped his how he presented himself to the British people. It was very interesting. I watched the movie The King's Speech, and I really enjoyed it. So then when I think this one was at Costco, and I saw it, I'm like, oh, I have to get it, because I just want to know a little more. One of the authors, Mark Loig, was actually Lionel Loig's, the professor's son. So it was kind of interesting, because there's some pictures from their own personal family albums. So this one was a good one. So a little bit more modern royal biography. And the last one is also one I got at Costco, Sally Bedell Smith's Elizabeth the Queen, The Life of a Modern Monarch. Elizabeth II is just, I find, such a fascinating person. Her first prime minister was Winston Churchill, and then she has met the president since Eisenhower. So she has seen so much history, and her outlook on that, and how she just watching history is just probably just very fascinating. And I believe this was printed for her, I think, 70th, 80th, 70th year of her reign, or 60th year of her reign. So, yeah. So this one's a good one. It also has pictures of when she first, of just her life there, and a little bit. One on her marrying Philip. So I kind of like that it has all those pictures. Edward or George VI was her father. So it's kind of interesting to see just the relationships and their outlooks on both these monarchs. So those are the biographies that I found very interesting. The royalty edition. So yeah, if you have any biographies that you like, royals, let me know. I will probably be very interested in seeing them. So they don't have to be just British royals. So I hope you like this video. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Thanks. Bye.